I've got a fucking rocket countdown. It's like 3, 2, 1.
Well, I didn't get the countdown.
No. Well, we apparently are live. Sounds good.
Yeah, cool. Welcome in, everyone. We're going to wait like 30 seconds for everyone to get in and then...
Get cracking.
Do you know what? I think the deadline has disappeared. Don't want to test it.
Yeah, no, I saw that down the bottom. There's a little
that's-
fucking countdown deadline, wasn't it?
It's gone. So I don't know if that was a countdown to get live.
Yeah, it might have been. Saying no deadline, apparently. Just had a little look.
Wicked.
Does that mean unlimited live call? That's pretty good then. Do a fat Q&A at the end.
Well, I hope so. That means there's no rush. Brilliant. Cool.
Wait, just checking this chat feature works. I put down the bottom, just like, hello. Can you see that? Is that to everyone?
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah, sweet.
They can't chat, so
Okay.
Who knows?
Roger.
I can turn on the chat, by the way, and I probably will be at some points during the webinar. So for everyone who does want to chat, just don't panic. But anyway, I think we'll get cracking. So
Yeah, cool.
Obviously in this one, we're going to be covering AI videos and AI content specifically. You may have seen Toby's extremely viral reel, and if you haven't, it is in the chat now. I don't know why you're called Toby and I'm called Imagine Education. But anyway, it's in the chat now if you want to take a look. I think it amassed nearly 30 million views so far. So
yeah, about that.
Done very well. So if you're looking to make AI videos like that, something interactive, something that's gonna drag some eyeballs, that is exactly the type of content that we're going to be teaching, as well as the newer stuff on Toby's page as well. So if you want to check that out, I think even on my page, I've got like 5 million views on one of the videos that are similar as well. So everyone's here to learn exactly, how to make AI videos, and I'd hope you're here to learn about, the AI model business as well. If you're new and you don't really know who we are, my name's Kyle. I know I'm called Imagine Education on here, but this is Toby. He's actually labelled as his name. We've been in the space for about 2 and a bit years now in specifically AI models and the AI OnlyFans industry. So yeah, we pretty much pioneered the space. We're looking to expand in this space as well, and I don't see the space going anywhere but upwards within the next few years. So if you're here, be very excited. There's definitely more of a business opportunity than just learning AI videos. Is that the reason that you came? That's cool as well. But there's definitely, for everyone who's over 18, a massive, massive opportunity in terms of the industry, the content creation industry, and artificial intelligence in general. And of course, we want people like yourselves to be a part of the network, and people that are willing to put out their spare time to attend webinars such as this, to actually go out their way and learn a skill like this, because as everyone knows, in the near future, this will become very, very valuable. And the thing is, I think we had 800 signups, and the fact that I think about 30% of people attended shows already that if you're here, you're ready to take action, you're clearly willing to learn. So we're going to have a very decent offer at the end of this call for everyone who does stick around. Not just, not just a selling point, but something to actually be excited about and stick around for. So, of course, we amassed 30+ million views just in the last couple of weeks off of this AI video stuff. The Instagram algorithms and the social media algorithms are changing massively. So before, we could maybe, post something about AI models, and it could be a static image. But as we know, with the rise of short form content, people's attention spans are fucking decreasing. People are becoming like absolute mongs when it comes to staying on social media. They can't even stick around to watch or consume content that's not in their eyes flashing. That's how bad people's attention spans have got. So we need to adapt. We need to create moving images, which we have been able to do, as you have seen. And of course, that is where we come in to today's lesson. So Toby knows a lot more about the AI kind of video stuff than I do. So he's going to be taking the actual lesson today. And then I'm going to be checking back in with everyone basically at the end. And hopefully we have a nice Q&A session and some exciting stuff going on. So if you wouldn't mind taking over, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, sound sweet. I'm gonna share screen then and get the ball rolling, everyone. Probably a few more people join in a minute, but yeah, that's fine. Right, let's do entire screen. I think that's loading, Carl. If you can let me know when that kind of comes in, that would be good.
Nothing just yet. Yeah, I can see.
Sweet. All good?
I can see.
Sweet, nice one. Right, so what you've all been waiting for. This is a lesson on AI videos. Now we're going to be going over a few types of videos. So we're not just going to be looking at the lip sync videos that have gone viral. And we're not just going to be looking at some of the other ones that have been used a lot in the past. We're going to be looking at pretty much everything other than not safe for work content. So let's get into it. AI videos, we're going to be using them for marketing and sales. So what is actually meant by an AI video? Because some of you have probably seen some of the face swap stuff online, maybe some of the high-tech deepfake stuff, thinking, what am I actually on about? So AI video is basically 100% AI generated, obviously, it's in the name, but it means it doesn't require a real model. So if you see TikToks online or even Instagram, it's very common to see a face swap where a real model's dancing and we're changing her face. This isn't 100% AI, and this is not what I'm going on about. We're talking about pure AI images, or basically text to AI image, straight into AI video, and then AI lip sync, AI voices, the whole package. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. The types of videos that we're going to be looking at. So obviously the full AI. And what I mean by this is platforms like Kling. A lot of you may have seen this before if you are in the industry. We're going to touch on this. We're not going to spend too much time on it because it is pretty boring, pretty basic, and it has been around for probably the last 6 months. We're going to be looking at lip sync. Now, this is also quite old technology that's been around for 6 months. However, the update within lip sync technology has massively grown. Like Carl mentioned at the beginning, this industry is the fastest growing probably in the world. So it's very important to stay up to date with the trends. Lip sync 6 months ago looked absolutely horrendous. It looks like you had a little Snapchat filter on and you're talking as like an old man or something. The lip sync now is amazing. It's like 10/10. It's very hard to tell the difference between a real person talking and an AI model talking, or an AI image, or in fact any kind of image. So the lip sync tech is what we're going to be looking at today quite heavily, because this is obviously amazing. It does mimic your mouth based on audio. So if the audio is pretty rubbish, if it's a very AI or very robotic, the lip sync will obviously mimic that. So we're going to make sure that this audio is crisp, and we're going to be covering that as well in this lesson. So you should be able to do a full lip sync video by the end of this lesson pretty easily. And then not safe for work content. Now, I'm obviously not going to go over this today because I'm sure some of you are out and about. But if you want to use WAN 2.1, little WAN platform, that is going to allow you to make not safe for work videos. Fully AI, no models required, no like real persons come in or pilot model or OnlyFans model, full 100% AI. This is normally a workflow, or on TensorRT, which is just another platform that does host it. But yeah, WAN 2.1, awesome name. Anyways, let's go through a brief rundown on Kling. Now, Kling is AI image to video. So if you have an image, it doesn't have to be AI, it can be any kind of image you want. It's going to get turned into a video by just putting it in this software. In fact, I can probably pull it up in a minute and give you a little presentation. But as you can see, the image on the right here, although it is a screenshot and very pixelated, it was quite high quality, and it did also go viral and get a lot of views. And many other AI influencers have replicated this and got thousands off the back end of it on FanView, which is pretty impressive. But this Kling video turns static images into videos, which is pretty easy. Basically just makes them move based on a prompt. So what do we want to put in this prompt to make the image move? We don't just want to say, like, get the model to walk down the stairs or walk straight or jump or anything like this, because it's not going to obey the prompt very well, and it will start being a bit erratic and random. We want a quite accurate prompt layout, which mentions a few things. So firstly, when we're using Kling, we want to have a prompt based on the camera. So this is kind of the static shot, or how you want the camera to be based. For example, 4K camera, which is static frame, which is basically describing what the camera is going to be. Or like amateur photographer, 8K, blah, 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 whatever. So you want to make sure that's in the prompt. You can do things pretty impressive with this camera, like I think it's like POV camera or like follow mode or some shit like that. But that kind of links in with the motion here. So that brings us into the second part of the prompt, motion. What do you want the image doing? Did you want it static? If so, just leave it under the same camera settings, static frame. But did you want it kind of rotating? Did you want it following the person that's walking? Did you want it zooming out? We kind of want to put that prompt in. So 4K camera, and then motion, kind of, let's say, rotational around the model. Keywords or key points, what we're going to be putting in this section is basically what we want the model to do. What is the significant part of the video? So if you guys have seen this video here, as you can probably imagine, it's an OF model. So I guess you guys can probably guess what's moving on this image. So if we do key points, let's try use another example. Let's say a model's walking. We'll put the key point of hips moving a lot, or emphasize hip movement. That's kind of the key point. And then the overall movement is obviously model walking away from the camera, something like that. So overall, if you put them all together, you'll get a very good image to video generation, which is exactly what you want. So that's pretty much Kling summed up. Once again, you're probably not all here for Kling. It's quite an older software. Older meaning 6 months old, which is very young still, but is pretty good. Right, for some reason there's an image missing on the left here, but let's go over it. So this is obviously my page here. Now this is a image here that has gone viral recently. I turned this image into a lip sync video, which I think is now on about 620K on my Instagram page, if I'm correct. So it has gone viral as well. And this was done about 3 or 4, 5 days ago. So not long ago at all. So what we're teaching you right now is trending. It is going viral. And if you apply it, you will get views. There's no kind of doubt about it. It will get views and it will get interactions because it's new technology. The general public hasn't seen it. So they're obviously going to be very excited about it. And also the nerds that are going to be buying your content on FanView, obviously going to be very excited with the realism of this model. So firstly, feel free to check out my page if you did want any kind of inspiration on how to do this AI tech. And obviously I'm going to be putting a lot of updates there anyway. So yeah, feel free to have a little look at that page and give me a little follow. But this image here on the right is 100% AI generated because it is very important that you have a good image to put into the generator. So as you can see, it's very high quality. And this is, yeah, just an AI model. So if your models are still like very low quality, like Gemfluence looking little cartoon hybrid things, then this video probably isn't going to be very good. The lip sync probably isn't going to be great. We're going to be aiming for close-up images that are high quality. So what we're going to use this tech for. This tech is going to be used for influencing online, so marketing, but it can also be for sales on FanView. So this is why I've thrown this point in. Obviously with Chatterlink, this is like FanView's chatting agency, or not FanView's, but works on FanView, and it's a chatting agency. We obviously use these videos to be able to get higher sales with our clients. So having like lip sync features and stuff like that, or a talking video, is going to be massive when it comes to building relationships with customers, or even just general interaction of the model's lifestyle. The customers are actually going to love it. They're going to love the realism of this AI model. They're going to love the kind of it's going to fulfill their fantasies because it's going to be very realistic and like a real life girlfriend experience. So doing this lip sync stuff will allow you to get more sales, more loyal customers, and obviously be able to scale massively. And as you can see down the bottom, there's an AI model here that done 25k. I don't know if you can see that down there. They are 25k is what they earn in 1 month. So pretty impressive. And they were applying this method. Well, actually they weren't. That was back in December, but some others have been. So lip sync. What do we need to be able to pull this off? We need a AI voice, or just a general voice, and an image. So both of these ideally need to be higher quality to pull this off, and are essential for the generation. The image can be made anywhere, but obviously, as I mentioned, the better the quality, the better the outcome. And close-up detailed pictures is ideally what we want. So once again, referring back to that, that's close-up, that's detailed. However, if you look at my profile picture up in the top left, if I tried to fucking lip sync that, there would be no chance because it's too far away and it's not high enough quality. So the type of content you make is very important. And the voice, where are we going to be creating this? Ideally 11 Labs, but there's also another platform called Play HT, which we'll be looking at today. And we're going to go have an investigation on voices now. So 11 Labs. Have I spelled 11 wrong? Ignore that. 11 Labs. So it is great for AI voices. When it comes to creating 100% AI voice, it is brilliant. But I know some of you here are part of the OFM game. So this Play HT is also another platform here, which is very, very good. So Play HT is great for cloning voices rather than creating voices. What's the difference? Now, 11 Labs, spelt wrong, is great for making AI voices because what you do is type in what you want. So, type in, I want to go to the shops, press enter, select your voice and adjust a few settings, and it will then create an AI voice. Whereas cloning voices, you need a real person to be able to get that voice as a source, train basically a LoRa or train a voice. And then when you do type in some prompts or type in whatever you want it to speak, it's going to be the same as the other person before. Once again, I'll show you a little demonstration in a minute. They're both pretty cheap, to be fair. 11 Labs is only $11 per month, pretty cheap. And the tokens you get loads. I wouldn't worry about tokens when it comes to generating voice. You get absolutely loads. And then similar with Play HD, you get like 250k worth of digits. So you can probably write a book if you wanted to. But the great thing about these is that they're instant. A lot of like generations take bloody ages. This is instant, and it is obviously very good. So let's do a little demonstration on all of this. So there's a little bit more at the end, but let's talk about voices first. So let's go to the text-to-speech feature. So as you can see, I've been playing around with it here, and this is how I've been making my reels. So this first one we're going to be looking at is 11 Labs. And as you can see, 11 Labs is spelled correctly there, which is good. So what you simply do is select a voice here. The voices are kind of public. You can trial them out if you just press the little buttons here. And there's loads of different voices. So for example, Daniel is a British guy. And then there's Sarah, she's American, soft-spoken. You can select your voice. This is obviously the one I've been using, which is pretty good. Then when it comes to these settings, you may be confused on what they are and what they do. A lot of the time, it's going to be pretty easy to work out. You've got thousands of kind of credits here to be able to play around with. So testing out different settings is always good. But what I normally aim for is around 1 when it comes to speed. So not too fast, not too slow. If it's very quick, then the AI is obviously going to struggle to keep up with lip sync. So we want to make sure that this isn't too quick, but if it's too slow, it's obviously going to do the opposite. The model's mouth is going to be lingering open for like 5 minutes as if it's catching flies. So we want to kind of keep that speed at 1 or maybe slightly above, I would say. Stability. This is basically where we're going to be following the text. So if you go say something like you want the model to go or something like or ha, if it is very stable, and if we had this all the way to the max, it's going to say like A-H-A-A rather than ha. So you want to be careful with this, and I would definitely keep that at slightly lower, normally around 60%, so in line with the one above. If you have it too low down, it's just going to start going like making some weird noises, which you don't want. So make sure you have the setting pretty accurate. This similarity, it doesn't really matter too much. Once again, it has like a little description there, but it's kind of the quality of the voice. It's not really too relevant. But the exaggeration bit is obviously the most important. So exaggeration, what is it? If I have it to 0, it's going to talk like a robot. No, hello, how are you doing? We don't want that. We want realism. So if we turn that to 100%, it's not going to increase the realism of it. It's just going to exaggerate things. So if you have it to 100%, it's going to be very similar to like an old school professor that you would hear in an American uni, where he starts talking as if he's really exaggerating everything, which you don't want and is going to piss everyone off. So let's try get it once again around that 50, probably 40 to 60, I'd say is the sweet spot. But if you have the exaggeration too high, it's not going to follow the text very well. So then we simply just say doing, and all we do there is just press enter. So generate speech, which is pretty simple. And that's all we need to do. That's going to be generated. Once again, it'll take a few attempts, but that's how you generate a voice with AI. Now, if you want to do some voice cloning, this is where it comes slightly different. So all you would need here is about 30 seconds of audio of the person that you want to clone. This is obviously a different platform, as you guys have just seen. This is Play HT. Now, cloning a voice, 30 seconds of audio, and ideally, you're going to want to be getting that audio from someone that's given you permission, or even just an AI voice that you've already got set up. So getting their permission is obviously very important. You can't just like start robbing voices. I don't think you get banged up into prison for it, but you know, I wouldn't advise doing it. It's definitely not ethical. But if you do have like a model, you're in the OFM game, you know, you've got an agency, you want to make some AI models, then feel free to use one of them models' voices if they obviously give you permission. It's going to be great. It's slightly higher quality than the AI voices here, and you're going to be able to get a great product. So once again, 30 seconds of audio, simply bang it in there. It's instant. And then when it comes to like generating stuff, it's the exact same. So you just type in whatever you want it to generate and you just click generate. Simple. One thing that I would be aware of with this platform is that it will mimic how the model speaks. So for example, if the cloned voice has a lot of you know, like laughing and stuff like that, then it's obviously going to clone how they actually speak, not just their tone and voice. So for example, I speak very kind of direct and do less and all of that kind of jazz. So if I was to clone it into here, you would expect a very direct tone and direct voice with less and as. But someone that obviously doesn't know how to talk very well is obviously going to have a lot more and as, which does help with realism. So if you do clone a voice, I would recommend throwing a few stutters in there, a few hesitations, and that is going to help with realism. Because in this section here, you're obviously going to have to type it in, going or whatever. And a lot of the time that does become very annoying and very stable as such. So let's go on to the next platform. So this is the platform that we're going to be using in a minute, but I want to cover a little bit about it first. So let's get into it. Right, so the platform here in the top left, as you can see, Dreamina, I think it's called. If I pronounce that wrong, apologies. But this platform is obviously what I've been using. So you want to come down to this lip sync feature here, which is going to be what you'll be using and what I'm going to be using within this tutorial. So firstly, you're going to have to select a character. So I haven't taught you how to create these AI images in this lesson. However, you're going to need to be able to learn how to create AI images. If you're just doing this for yourself, then that's absolutely fine. Like I have been doing that for myself as well. If I go on to Instagram, right, great. If I go on to Instagram, I've been pretty lazy with content. Instead of going out and actually getting content, I've just been, making AI images of myself and just simply adding a voice to it, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, this is AI. So if you already have models that are lazy and they don't make any content, which I know is very common within the space, then you can simply just generate images of them and then obviously use the voice to help them out with their marketing within the OFM game. However, if you're going for a full AI model, then obviously you want to then create that AI content. Once again, higher the quality, the higher the output. 633 that's currently on, which is pretty good. So where was I? Platforms that you can use to be able to make this content. Comfy.ui, Focus, and Automatic 1111 or Foul.ai. So depending on your ability, depends on what platform you want to use. Comfy, Automatic 1111 are very hard platforms to learn. However, you'll probably get the best quality content. However, Focus and Foul.ai is a lot easier. If I was to teach a stupid person, let's say, or someone that's very uneducated in the space, I would start them off on Foul.ai. This is because it's prompt generated, so you just need to type in a few keywords and you get an output. Whereas all of these other ones are slightly less so, specifically Comfy as well. But creating a character is obviously very important, and creating it in a realistic way is also very important. So yeah, that was the last slide. Let's go into the actual platform. So upload your image there and upload your audio here. On this platform, they do have their own audios, but they are absolutely awful. So I would not recommend using any of these. You can test them out. If it doesn't really matter what the audio is like, feel free to do so. But I would recommend uploading your own audio from one of these two platforms. Put your image and you click generate. It's as simple as that. It's not anything complicated here. You simply just make a voice, make an image, and click generate. Let's have a little look at this one. Now, I assume you guys can't hear this, but yeah, that's on my Instagram. So if you did want to have a look at that, you're going to be able to hear that a lot better. As you can see, I think I uploaded it just before the call. Yeah, 1 hour ago, and it's already on 4K views, which is pretty good. But yeah, what it does as well, is on this platform, it turns the image into a video as well. So a lot of you have been thinking, do I take it into Kling first and then create that AI video and then merge it with the audio? No, you don't. You simply just put the image into this platform and it comes out as a video where the model is actually moving. So as you can see, she's blinking, she's breathing, she's slightly looking up and down, moving eyebrows. All of these features are very, very impressive and isn't normally done on other lip sync platforms. Other platforms are awful. They literally just move the lips and yeah, as you can imagine, it doesn't look very realistic. Whereas here, it does everything. And I believe there is a little HD feature there, which you can upscale it, which is even better. Most of the time, I just put in a high quality image and stick with that. But yeah, you can get a few other ones. But if we look at this one here, let me mute that. If you put a voice that's too enthusiastic, let's say, it's going to look very mutated. So ideally, what you want is quite a calm, settled voice. Otherwise, it's going to start doing things like this, where it opens the mouth massively and tries to emphasize the speech too much. So look at this one. That's the same one again. Once again, she's moving her hands as well whilst pronunciating. So it is not just a simple lip sync where it does your lips. It does everything in terms of mimicking movement, which is pretty impressive. So that's the platform there. Now, some of you have been thinking, how do I make this type of content here where I'm completely mimicking my movement? Well, if you go over to YouTube at OFMKyle, I've got a whole video on how to do this. I think it's about 10 minutes long because this is a little bit more complicated. However, either of these methods will both work. So on YouTube, OFMKyle, you'll be able to learn this one. And if you want to learn some basic lip sync here, obviously just showing you how to do that. And these are the platforms that you would use that's been mentioned today. So yeah, if you do have any questions, we're going to do a little Q&A in a minute. I'm going to hand you back to Kyle first, and he's going to talk you over a few things. So let me stop sharing.
How's it going, everyone? Thank you for that, Toby. Hopefully that was educational enough for everyone. In fact, what I'm going to do is open up the chat now. What I want to hear is whether everyone in here finds this kind of thing valuable, because what we might be doing is doing these weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, however valuable you guys find it is exactly, you know, how we're going to gauge how often we do these and how often. So if you found this interesting or you found this educational, put a 1 in the chat or a yes in the chat, and that will help us gauge, and that'll be very helpful. Awesome. Very positive response. Appreciate it. Nice one. Cool. So yeah, as I said, we've been in the industry for a couple of years now. We have been giving out free value again for a couple of years, and what we really want is for this space to really take off. You see a lot of these gurus online telling people how to make money with a fucking drop shipping course when drop shipping was a thing back in 2015. We're looking to do the new stuff, right? We're looking to take over the new kind of area, and what we don't want to do is associate ourselves with shitty business models that have already been rinsed and repeated. We are creating a whole new avenue, not just for, you know, the AI OF stuff that Toby repeatedly mentioned, but also for the kind of AI influencer space. We want to help people build up AI influencer socials, get brand deals, and make money off general kind of social media stuff. Now, that is just an extremely hard thing to do right now, especially to gauge attention. As we all know, we live in an attention economy. Any kind of money that you're going to get from this is going to need to garner a lot of attention. However, with the stuff that we currently teach, and we've been teaching for years, is the AI OF side, right? So a lot easier to monetize than, you know, the PG stuff that everyone's going to be going for, and a lot more potential to kind of skyrocket that. So hopefully we all enjoyed that. What we're going to do now is a very quick Q&A, probably 5 to 10 minutes long. So if you want to just bang some questions in the chat, and me and Toby can answer them. This can be about how to actually monetize this. This can be about AI videos. This can be about the lesson we just did, or it can be completely unrelated. But chuck some questions in the chat, and we'll try to get back to it.
Sweet. I've seen a few already about not safe for work. So we're not going to be covering that in this lesson here. We're going to keep this PG. But if you did want to know not safe for work stuff, if you join our Discord community, I can drop a video on that later and show you the whole method on how that's done. The community, I think, is only like, what, $47 at the moment. Probably find a discount if you really wanted. And yeah, I can drop the not safe for work stuff there just because I don't want to turn this explicit, because there's a lot of people that are going to be using this for just general marketing. Like if you have an e-com store, if you need to run ads and you can't be asked to get up and go film an ad or get a studio, you can do this. It's very easy to do. And like I mentioned on my Instagram, most of the time, I don't want to get up and go film a reel outside. It's pissing it down outside. It's in the UK. So I'll just AI generate it. Good to go. So yes, Carl, did you find any other questions there?
No, but it's definitely an interesting point. People kind of, I think because of the industry that we're in, especially personal brand wise, a lot of people assume that it has to be used for OnlyFans or FanView, whereas like the possibilities are endless. I know people that make money from, as you said, the e-com stores. They run this as their fashion models. They get these AI models, generate them to do fashion stuff. They do fucking catwalks with their new clothing. It's sick, and people are selling their e-com brands and drop shipping stores for millions based upon the fact that they can generate AI content and basically model it off it. I mean, imagine if, let's just, for example, chuck out there, imagine if Nike, Pretty Little Thing, all these big kind of clothing brands started to utilize AI models. They wouldn't need real life models. They wouldn't need photographers. They wouldn't need to book out studios. They literally would save so much, millions a year in costs. So there is endless potential to expand, not just the OF stuff. If that's not to your liking, you don't have to go along with that. And in fact, in the future, we plan to implement a structured course or something around building up a following so that you can get brand deals and more PG stuff. So stick around for that kind of thing. Not to say too much because it's not a thing yet, but
yeah, sweet. So people are asking, what is Foul.ai? So Foul.ai is basically an AI generator. This is what we've done the last webinar on. It's basically how you turn text into images. Very basic, and it does produce fairly high quality stuff. However, if you want some more advanced stuff, Comfy and Focus obviously going to be a lot better. Comfy is quite advanced. If you have a downloaded workflow, then you can obviously use it quite well, and it can print very good images. Not safe for work, whatever. Focus, however, is also great, but slightly harder to use in my opinion. You can't just download like a workflow, but a lot of people do prefer using Focus because it is more like prompt based. You don't have to start building workflows or anything like that. So Comfy, Focus, they're both good platforms. Foul.ai, once again, if you're a beginner, is great, but it doesn't do any not safe for work content. So that's that. Just reading the chat. Someone's asking, is this live? Solid.
no, pre-recorded, mate.
So image to video apps, yeah. Main ones I'd say is Kling and obviously the Dreamina that I just showed today, if that's how you say it. Runway's not too bad. That's how you would do the other method, but I'm not a massive fan. I'd normally just stick to Kling and Dreamina.
Someone asked, is it bad to face swap someone else's video? So that's kind of a separate point to obviously what we've covered today, but it's still important to, I think, address. So if you don't have permission to face swap someone's video, I know that AI is very limited, or well, it was. I don't think anymore that it's that limited, but you know, it's certainly not going to bang out the latest TikTok trend, right? You're not just going to get your model doing the latest TikTok trend without face swapping. However, if you don't have permission from anyone to, you know, nick their videos online, I wouldn't do it. Will you go to jail for it? Probably not, but does that mean do it? No. You will get accounts banned, you will get flagged up, and I believe if sites such as FanView know that you're doing this on your socials, they won't take a liking to it for sure. So definitely best to get permission. Now that's a separate point. What we've been doing, we used to run an OF agency, we have connections to people who are already doing these trends. We can get permission from people, and you know, they can get a percentage of what that model earns if they're helping out with the marketing and all the videos and things like this. So that is an option. You can get what we call a pilot model to do your marketing videos, do your TikTok trends, pay them a percentage or pay them up front to do this for you, and that will still look like your model as long as it, you know, has the same body type, and it's a lot more how do you say it? It's a lot more. There's a lot more potential to basically go viral with a human if it's done correctly, of course. But that being said, you know, if a model's doing that, they might as well do it themselves. So, yeah. In conclusion, don't do it without permission, but it's possible.
Sweet. So there's a question about Reddit and traffic sources. In fact, if you want to see some more marketing stuff, we could do another webinar on that. It's more of Kyle's expertise. But in terms of Reddit, obviously for OnlyFans management, it's brilliant. It's an American audience, isn't it? So it's going to be very good. But Reddit for AI models is slightly harder, mainly because a lot of subreddits don't like AI models. So you need to find some more niched out subreddits. So niched out subreddits, they're not a bad thing. They're obviously going to be good for the target audience, but it means there's going to be slightly more competitive because there's limited subreddits. Also, if you want to start getting into the big subreddits, you know, compete with the big boys, then you're going to need a very realistic model, because getting into more advanced subreddits are normally not niched around AI models. So you need to abide by the rules of that subreddit, and that subreddit is normally, you know, real aiming to get realistic or real girls. So if you have a very good AI model, you're more likely to do very well on Reddit than if you have a very cartoon looking AI model. So that's what I definitely recommend if you are looking to do Reddit, is aim for realism within your model before you start.
Someone said, how long to see results? So again, varies. I can't give you a direct answer on this because I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I don't know how much spare time you have. I don't know if you are prepared to put in the work that it will take for you to get fast results. But it's not a get rich quick scheme. You're going to have to build up a following. You're going to have to do all these things. You're going to have to learn some new skills. So it's not going to be, day one, get money unless you already have a huge following, AI, all that stuff. But again, can't give a direct answer. But what I can say is we do have students that will come on board either in the $47 course or on our coaching program, and they will see results in a week or two. Not just, they got their first sub for $3, but some genuine, real results that are going to lead on to them getting, a monthly paycheck from this reoccurring. Someone also said, missed it, are you guys hiring? Now, funnily enough, that's a question we get all the time, and it's something. It's the reason why we first got into kind of digital products, because no one is really trained in this type of industry, and the reason why we want to teach this is because it's so new and because it's something that not everyone has an experience in. So if we can train people up, if people enjoy it, if people get really good at it, there's a huge possibility that you could come in and get way better than us at AI generation, or way better at us at marketing AI models. There's every chance that you could do that. And that is exactly the type of person that we all want on our team. So funnily enough, that is exactly the reason why we have communities, why we will post job adverts in there. Are we hiring right this second? No, but we're always looking for new talent. So if you're in the communities, if you're doing well, then you're more likely to get scouted, let's say. But yeah, we're always looking for people to work with. So that's why it's super important to, kind of jump into the network and jump in the community, get working, get partnering with people. But anyway, I think that will wrap up the Q&A section, unless you saw any more questions.
Yeah, we can do a few more in a minute. I know you had something else you wanted to cover, like a little special ending.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to jump into. But if you saw any more questions that you wanted to go ahead and answer.
Nah, go for it. I'll probably loop back in a bit if you want to.
Cool. Well, anyway, in terms of moving forward, what do you do with this information? Yeah, cool. You know how to generate AI videos. You know how to, or a bit about making AI models. Or you can go onto YouTube and learn exactly that from the link that I posted in the chat earlier. But where does that actually leave you? Well, some people will go ahead, they'll apply the AI videos, they'll go ahead, do it themselves, and that's absolutely fine. In fact, I respect anyone that is able to do that, graft it out, learn by themselves. However, there's also a second option, which is to have guidance. Guidance is something that's super important, especially in a brand new industry. If you could jump into a community that's already earning, that's already crushing it and already the most advanced community out there for this industry, would you want to join? Of course you would. There's no doubt whether you could go ahead, try learn something by yourself, which again is absolutely fine. But why would you do that if there's the information out there, the people, the network, everything there for you, right? So this is exactly why we have a coaching program, as I said, and we're going to be opening some slots this week for our coaching program based off the back of this webinar. At the start, I mentioned the reason that we host these is to see this attendance. If you have made it this far and you are this keen to put aside some time and learn how to make AI videos just off your own back, that is the exact type of person that we want in our coaching programs and in our communities. Purely because you're going to attend our live calls, you're going to be active, you're going to help other members of the community out, which is great, and you're going to chat to other members and you're going to network. All key things that we will be looking for in a program like this. So we put together a comprehensive system, which is basically a step-by-step guide along with a community, which is going to allow you not only to generate the best video content, but also how to make money off the back of this and how to generate a following, how to make money on fan view. So here's what the program's going to include. You're going to get our completely revamped course. We have a brand new course, which we literally just revamped, full of brand new information. What we've taught on the call today to do with AI videos is about 20% of what is actually out there in the industry. Not just right now, but for the future as well. Think of future progressions. Yes, okay, you've learned here. You could go ahead and learn every update that comes, but who's going to know about it first? We are. So we have a revamped course, and we're going to keep revamping it. The more stuff that comes out, the more stuff is going to get added. And we have been doing this for over a year. We've had many successful students. Going to get access to our private coaching mastermind, where successful creators that we already have are sharing their success stories, are sharing their strategies, and are networking with each other. So there's great opportunities to work with some existing students as well. You're going to get video prompts, so you don't have to, spend a shit ton of time mincing about trying to learn prompts or trying to put random stuff into prompts and then wait for the video to load. We're going to basically hand you that. You're going to get complete access to our workflows. This includes Kling, Dreamina, and also I believe we have a comfy workflow as well for imagery. So great there. And you're going to get our viral reel formula that has allowed us to generate hundreds of thousands, millions of views on Instagram and other short form platforms as well, which, as you can imagine, leads to a shit ton of conversions and therefore cash. You're going to get our warm-up process. So as we all know, social media accounts nowadays, you need to warm them up. Instagram, you can't just jump on and same day start posting and get a million views. It doesn't work like that. You're going to have to go through a warm-up process. Unfortunately, these social media platforms are cracking down, and luckily we have the connections to be able to learn how to warm these up and pass that information on to you guys. You're going to get ready to go script templates for your AI models. So if you're going to post a reel and you don't know what captions to post, we're going to give you guidance on exactly what kind of captions to post there. We host 2 live calls every single week. This can be about a random subject. It could be about what students are struggling about right now, or it could be a review session where you'll jump on with us, us coaches, and we will individually go through each and every one of your AI models, review your Instagram, review your funnel, review your fan view, and make sure that everything's good to go so that you can get a maximum amount of conversions. Imagine how valuable that can actually be. You're going to get a fan view optimization package that's going to boost your credibility. That will include some likes. That will include complete guidance on how to actually make your fan view look as good as it can so that people will want to sub to you. And our entire implementation vault, so that's going to include video creation templates, completely free when you sign up. Personal onboarding call to get your own strategy. So a roadmap we're going to set out for you, specific to your schedule, specific to what you've got going on in life right now. We're going to map out for you on your onboarding call, and you're going to get 21 days of direct one-to-one support for your model. Now, some common questions that we get is this complicated for beginners? I'd say absolutely not, especially with the courses, with the guidance that we're providing. We have many beginners come on, they're able to generate cash almost instantly, right? It's just a fact. Will this get saturated? Now, let me tell you something about the industry. The industry is heading in a way which is exponential. I don't think that there's been an industry in the past couple of years where we've been able to post about this for a couple of years now, and no one else has really picked up on it. If this was drop shipping, if this was crypto, if this was fucking anything of a similar nature, hundreds of people like us would have jumped on it and would have basically saturated this industry very, very quickly. However, what we have is over 2 billion users on Instagram, and a very minute percentage of those are AI creators and are creators in general on the kind of content OnlyFans space. So there's plenty of room for that. And imagine your customer base with 2 billion users. Crazy. Creating realistic models is always kind of a problem for people, and they wonder if it looks AI or anything like this. For one, we're going to teach you the most updated AI techniques. You're going to learn exactly how you can create AI models to make the most realistic content possible. As I said, we give you workflows of our own that we use and our designers use. But also, you're going to learn very, very quickly that some of the people who get the best results are the ones that don't care that much about what their AI model looks like and don't care that it's that realistic. The guys that are in your customer base within this industry are stupid. Let's put it right. They are stupid. So they are going to convert. Doesn't really matter, but we're going to teach you exactly how to get those conversions. online programs. You may have been in some online programs, you may have heard bad things about courses. You may have some sort of stigma against online coaching or digital products. Now, absolutely do not blame me for this at all. There are so many people who will scam, who will promise the world and not give anything back. However, what I will say is look at our track record. Yes, okay, you're not in the community, you don't really know. However, there's many posts that I post on Telegram. There's many posts that I have on my Instagram highlights, same with Toby. Student results, real life people that have got results with our coaching program. We've been doing this for years now, teaching people exactly how to do this. And especially with the way that AI is moving, it's only going to get more realistic. It's only going to get more scary in that way, and more easy to get conversions for us, especially with the lack of competition that there is. And of course, we're the ones that are going to be taking the risk from that decision. You're not just going to, when you book a call, I'm going to put a link in a minute. If you book a call with us and you're interested in this type of thing, you're not just going to join the call and get pitched. That's not what we're here to do. What we're actually going to do is review your situation, and we're going to give you value on that call. So the worst case scenario, you jump on that call, you don't come on board with us, but you go away knowing exactly how you can take your AI model journey from 0 to a fucking 100. Yes, you won't get the guidance with that, but you're going to have a direct path to know exactly where to go with that. So in fact, let me pull up the link that you can book a call. I'm just going to shove it in the chat. 1 second.
Yeah, I've just replied to quite a few of you in the chats there. So if you did have some questions that you missed, have a little look in the chat. I should have replied to you there.
Cool. I have just highlighted that link there. And also, I do have another link as well. So what we're also offering as well as that, if you don't want to book a call, if a coaching program seems kind of extreme for you, what we do have is, as Toby mentioned, a $47 course. Now, for everyone in here, we're going to give you $10 off that. So if you use the code IG10, that I just put in the chat there, IG10, that is going to give you $10 off. So it's $37 for a fucking course with a huge community of people who are doing exactly this. So off the back of this, as you can imagine, if 250 people join that new community that we have going on, that's 250 more people. I think there's already like, what, 2K people in there, Toby, I think? Yeah, 2K people already in there, already discussing AI models, already making money moves. So super key for that. But what we're going to get is, off the back of this webinar, if you are going to book a call, once again, you are going to get a complete roadmap of how exactly you're going to go from 0 to hero. But also, you're going to get a discount on top of everyone else who would have joined before, purely because you've taken the time to jump on this webinar, because you've taken the time to learn AI videos basically off your own back. That is exactly, as I mentioned, the type of student that we're going to want in our program. So I'm not going to waffle on about it anymore. Effectively, the link is in the chat. What I recommend you do if you are interested, there are going to be limited slots. So as I put that in the chat, I imagine a few people have already booked. Don't be one of those who leaves it till the end of this call. Click the link now and make sure that you book in. Yes, of course, you're not going to be available 24/7. And if there isn't a time, give me or Toby a message and we can possibly sort something if you're not available for any of the times that we've got. But pretty much that is all I've got to say about the program. Toby, did you have anything else to kind of add on?
Yeah, can you open the Q&A chat again, or is that not possible?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, sweet, do that. Also, one extra thing for you guys, which I did actually forget to mention a minute ago, is let me share screen again. So when it comes to creating this content here, obviously it's great that the content's all created, but a lot of the time you want to add a bit of white noise in the background. So sorry if you guys are currently booking in calls and shit like that. This isn't too important, but adding in like some car noises or some white noise in the background is always going to be very good in terms of realism. So I'd highly recommend doing that. What I'd also recommend doing is playing around with the settings a little bit when it comes to the image. So if I zoom in a little bit here, going to like adjustment on CapCut and then adjusting the saturation down a little bit and all of this kind of stuff is very good. If I reset it, as you can see, it gets near the end and it looks a lot more AI because the saturation is too high and the image just looks like it has a bit too much clarity, if you know what I mean. So if you come to this kind of setting here, turn that down, maybe bring the brilliance up a tiny bit, bring the fade up a little bit, and it just makes it look a little bit more realistic because it's less, let's say, saturated, I guess is the only real wording there. And then if it's even more like airbrush or anything like that, you can add some particles in to obviously grain it out a little bit, which is also very good. So 2 additional tips there is obviously adding in some white noise in the background. So this here is kind of just like car noises and people walking past, but you can also get like cafe noises. Pretty sure you can get some, what was it? ASMR. I'm pretty sure you can get some cafe noises up here as well if you needed, which is obviously going to be very, very helpful when it comes to improving realism. So just an additional point there for those of you who stay to the end and wants to get a bit more knowledge in the space. Anyways, so did you open the main chat as well, Carl?
Yeah, it should be main chat, Q&A chat. It's both open.
Can you just close the main chat?
No.
Okay, sound. Let's do a few more questions and then we'll wrap it, because I know a few people were probably booking it in calls and doing all that jazz and using that IG10 coupon link. So let's have a look. OurDreams.ai. I mentioned that a minute ago. I've never heard of it, never used it, but I might have a little look into it afterwards. 100% profit margins on FanView. So FanView does take a 20% cut. There used to be a coupon code. It was like a Christmas/New Year special where you get 100% profit margins. But FanView aren't currently doing that at the moment. If you want, I could ask them if they're doing it again for our students. They do love to help us out. So I'll have to get back to you on that. But maybe you see that pop up again within our community over the next few weeks. And that can be active.
Once again, though, that's why it's super important to actually join a fucking community who has connections. If you get banned on FanView, for example, now, not to name names, but I have friends at FanView, right? So we can literally help you out with any kind of questions or problems you have on the platform, and no other fucking community can do that for you. So again, that's just another reason why it's super important to have that in your network.
So is it just me and Carl that take the calls? So the webinars normally, however, in our mentorship and like the Done For You program, that kind of stuff, we have like special guests every now and then. So other people within the space, people that we know that are obviously doing massive numbers on FanView, people that are like specialized in AI design, that kind of stuff. So most of the time it is me and Carl taking calls, but I'll probably say like twice a month, maybe a little bit more every now and then. We have someone specialized on who can talk you through pretty much everything in depth. And that's including people that are doing big numbers, very impressive numbers on the platform. In fact, the other day we had the owner of the largest agency on FanView. So I don't even know, I think it's 25 AI models, all above like 10K or something like that. It's mental. But he was on the other day. He gave our students a lesson. Yeah, they loved it. So stuff like that. We had a OnlyFans management guy jump on the other day, talk a little bit more about real models, pilot models, a bit about Instagram. And I know he's doing numbers as well, probably close to like 250K per month, probably more actually. I don't know, Carl. But yeah, we do have special guests on a lot. Promos. I did drop a promo link a minute ago. We have obviously a trusted source that we use. Let me try to find that and I'll chuck that back in.
If you want to pin that, I think you can pin it.
I can't. You got to do it.
All right.
I chucked it just before the mentorship links in the chat, Carl. It's called Social Link. It's who we use. It's trusted. They do a good job. They do mass DMs, IG shoutouts. They're not like botted pages and stuff, because I know if you get approached by any kind of page on Instagram, most of the time it's going to be a scam or a very low quality promo. So I'd recommend going to a supplier, whether this is Social Link here or whether you actually find a legit supplier. But yeah, the first, I think, about a year of doing OnlyFans management, we were just scouring the internet for a supplier. Managed to find one, weren't great. Managed to find a few more because of networks and communities, and now we've got a very good one. So, yeah, you're welcome. Social link.
Yeah, cool. People asking if there's going to be any more times to book. No, unfortunately. That's why I kind of said you need to make a move right now. When the calls are booked, they are booked. You know, we have a few team members that do take the calls, and their time is obviously limited, and the amount of students that we can take is limited. So unfortunately, if there's no time slot that's appropriate for you, you're going to have to wait till we accept more students, which I have no clue when will be the next time. So that's why it's super important. I just put the link in the chat again. If you do want to book a call, make sure you book it right now. And I think we're going to end in like 2 minutes time. So if anyone has more questions, then feel free to put them in the chat. But yeah, effectively, when the slots are gone, unfortunately, they're gone.
Yeah, we gotta keep our attention very specific. If we're keeping it too broad, you're not going to get the correct coaching, the correct guidance. So we don't want to take on 100 people into the mentorship, because how are we going to message 100 people every single day and keep tabs on that? So we keep it very specific, very niche down, and we have got other coaches helping us. But yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, seems like no one else really has any questions. A couple people messaging me privately in the chat saying they booked a call. That's awesome. But yeah, good luck in your call. Hopefully you learn a lot, and hopefully we'll see you on board in the program. Do you just change the thing?
Or the whiteboard.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, well, bye.
Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. I've enjoyed it. If you want more of these, message us or comment on YouTube or comment on Instagram, some shit telling us to do more, and suggestions on what we can do them on. And we'll try to get round to all those suggestions and review kind of what would be best for us. But yeah, again, thanks everyone for attending. Hopefully everyone has an amazing rest of your week. If you're stuck in the office, sorry to hear that. But yeah.
Not for long.
Not for long, exactly.
Sweet. See you later, guys.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.